welcome friends. I am your host for today's segment of Usana's Dialogues, and today we are joined by a very brilliant scholar from Egypt. I'm going to give his introduction, but first I must tell you that today we are going to discuss about the new world order, India-Egypt relationship, and the geopolitical events and happenings taking place in West Asia and North Africa, which are very crucial at this stage. First, I'll begin with the introduction. Ahmed Yusuf El Idrisi is a very talented entrepreneur, researcher, and a senior Egyptian TV presenter and a global visionary entrepreneur. He has been advisor and he is a specialist on the future of the global new world order. He has written articles in various online and several media platforms. He has lectured in more than 50 cities of the world and he on issues ranging from the geotechnopolitics to cross cultures and the future economic models. He has built a community and forum called Democtech, which primarily focuses on the new world order and the events and values which are going to shape the new world order. He advises several governments and the various corporate institutions and various entities to achieve future goals like the Beidenheim in Germany, Milano Catholic School in Italy, Paris, Valencia in Spain, Benin in Africa, and all Arab countries. So thank you very much, Yusuf, for joining us today. Ahmed Yusuf Al Idrisi. I should learn your full name. Yes. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to have you on board today.
Habibi.
And, actually,
me too, after a month is from Moscow. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So actually, I would like to tell my dear audience that I first met Ahmed in Moscow in a very beautiful event, which was again about the new world order. And from there, we just thought of, we spoke about the India-Egypt relationship in the past and what's happening now and how it can pan out in the future. So that's how that's where this idea actually cropped up. And today, finally, after a lot of hard work and discussion, we are again here to discuss these issues with Yusuf. So Yusuf, my first question, what's your take on the new world order? We all see that, the world order led by the West, defined, dominated overwhelmingly and shaped by the Western nations is kind of, declining or kind of restructuring. And we are seeing forces which are shaping a new world order. What's your take on that?
Yes, first of all, thank you so much for your introduction. Big love to you and to India. I love India especially too much because I born in Kuwait and when I uprising, I raised with many Indian families from different areas, from different culture. So in my heart, in my psychology, Asia and India have a big place. This is really.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Shukran.
Shukran, Habibi. And I love nowadays to make a good engagement with thinkers, with writers, with diplomatic like you from all the world and especially from India, because we are going through the new order. I write and I am think and I have many lectures about the new order since many years. I think now we in India and in Egypt, the people and in many areas in the world are facing a big problem with Americanism and globalization especially. And as we work in diplomacy or in TV or in media, the American media since many decades try to make a big pressure about our culture, about our civilization. Egypt and India have big civilization to all this cosmology, to all this world. So in the new order, it begins, I think, from the new century, and it more clear since 2010 from the Arab Spring Revolution. We are go now to the big light. go through big light. The big civilization like China, India, Egypt, Russia, all this is big civilizations. The Americanism and globalization cannot break these big roots through the geohistorical, if we can could like this. So in the new order now, we have a new generation in programming in India, in Egypt, new scientists in India, in Egypt, in China, in Russia, new thinkers, new policymakers, new leaders. This new movement, this is realistic new movement, have a big dream for all the world, for all the people in all countries, from Africa, from Latin America, from Europe, from America itself. We go now through the credibility, because globalization, it's a fake, and it tried to make the world new or modern style of slaving or slave. We are against this, because we think and we read and we write, and the media, and I work inside the media, have a big mistake and a big fake, because it's not realistic to make a beneficiary or benefit for the people in all the world. It's not real, because the Americanism style, but not all the media, but the majority, the most of all the media. So our movement in my initiative, it's called dimag. Dimag in Arabic or Egyptian world means the brain, the mind, the dimag tech, the brain tech, the new way of thinking, the new way of view or viewing, or the sites, because now we go through India like Egypt, and Egypt like India, and also China and Russia. We have a mix between spiritual culture and materialistic culture. Americanism and globalization don't respect this way of insight or viewing, or how to looking to the poor people, the ordinary people, not only the multinational or multinationalism companies. We have nowadays, and you see this is in Russia, and we try between our cooperation between India and Egypt, because I love India too much, but we must try to work too much about our culture, our science, our cooperation, our writers, our TV presenters, and diplomacy like you, to make this bridge more cohesive, more more to send the real message to our people, to the policymakers, to the leaders. We must to cooperate really, because the new order go to a new era. Now you see what happened in Middle East, in Arab region, in India, in Pacific, in Eurasia, etc.
Thank you very much. So, and with this, I mean, what I understand from your take is that the new world order is going to be shaped by the civilizational states, with the belief systems, which is primarily rooted in spiritualism, cultural values, which is actually quite good for this world. Blind materialism cannot shape value systems, and cannot make this world a better place for our posterity. And I certainly agree with you on that. With this, my next question is that, can you tell us a bit more about the future of India-Egypt relationship in the new world order, and how can these two countries, synergize their efforts to shape this new world order?
Yes. Now the cosmology is talk. The world now is talk. We have a new geopolitics. So the old civilization now come again to lead the situation in our world, not only Americanism or globalization or one force. No, we are multidisciplinary now. Uh, uh, we are now going to the engagement between civilization, between, for example, between Egypt and China. Now in Egypt, you know, and you work in diplomacy, there are many Indians nowadays in Egypt, invest here in Egypt. This is so great. But our work now, it's important to cooperate with writers, culture, media, cinema also. So the soft power now, programming, a new generation of IT people, scientists. So our cooperation is more important. We didn't start now, and this is it. We wanted to start. It's very important. I talk from the bottom, not on the surface only. We need to the a new movement between youth in Egypt and in India, because it was, we have a big history together. Yes, between our leaders, our president, our people here and here. And you know, Egyptian people love Indian people. Indian people love Egyptian people. We need to make nowadays activities and the real bridge and the training, because we are introduced. I am concerned about the future leaders and the new leaders in all the world by our new skills and deep skills from our both civilizations. This is not happened till now. We need through you and the intelligence people in India, and also the national people in India who love India and love our world, to go through these activities. When we was in Russia, I'm shocked because I see all the world there and I see how we can cooperate. But really, it must also to start our cooperation between the thinkers, the visionaries people, also between Egypt and India. This is the most important era. We didn't start till now about this.
Yes, I agree, certainly. Now, with this, I mean, definitely, I see a huge potential for this cultural civilizational exchange between India and Egypt. As you mentioned, right, a lot of things are happening on the business side and the tech side, but the cooperation between the writers, thinkers, and the soft power dimension is something which needs to be explored and that needs to be enhanced. Now, with this, my next question is something related to some hardcore geopolitics. So can you just tell us, like, what's happening in your part of the world? Like, we heard about the Arab Spring and the revolutions, which kind of shattered that entire world. But how is the situation now? What about the stability of the political, social, and economic order in your country in the future? And also the surrounding regions, surrounding countries of Egypt in Africa. Then we'll come to the Middle East.
Yes. I think now the cosmology is talk, the cosmology, not only the world. And we must to respect our earth, our nature, our this is a space also. So when the spring, the Arab Spring start, it was really a pure movement from the youth. But this is not only enough, because purity must be with a vision, and have to think what is the future by the power. The power come from science and tech, plus the business and economy. Not the economy first, but the science, tech, culture, and the soft power must have a big vision and cooperation with visionaries, because not only one thinker must lead this world. Nowadays, we are in the swarm intelligence, combination between the thinkers, associations between the thinkers, because now the community in all the world, not become only from Egypt and India and America, and no, it become how we can serve our world as a thinker, as a lovers, because Egypt and India have a great thing about the secret of love. The
No, I get your point, but what I want to know right now is that like the stability of the political, economic, and the social order in Egypt. After what happened in the Arab Spring, can you
I
just
will,
focus a bit
I will
more on
tell
that?
you. I will tell you, but this is introduction. It's important also to know what I want to tell. Uh, from 2010 till now, for example, Egypt and Arab world have big fluctuations in economy, and it have now a big struggle because the globalization, Americanism, and also the conspiracy from our neighbors. You see what Israel do to Palestine and our world. So it's not the security is alhamdulillah is nice, is okay. That means all Indians are here in Egypt to invest and all the world, no problem of this. But we have a problem in macroeconomics because we have spent too much money about the infrastructure for the future vision. We have a big project here. If you come to Egypt, you will see a big infrastructure, one of the best infrastructure now in the world, but it takes big loans. This is the problem. And we have a problem also with the International Monetary Fund, because and all people from the news know we have a big loans. This is the problem. But for the security, it's okay. For social life is okay. For have a entertainment fun like this, everything is okay for this. But the big problem now, for example, in Egypt, especially about the loans from the International Monetary Fund, because we have a big infrastructure here and spent many years about this aspect. Also, we have here a big plan for future about the fifth industrial technology, and we wanted to spend more money about this. So also the infrastructure about this take too much of money. Anyway, in brief, the situation is good in Egypt, alhamdulillah, from many years, not from these years, but we have a problem really now from the liquidity and again from the loan we take it from International Monetary Fund.
Well, that's again a very critical issue because when we're talking about the change in the world order, the most important question is the change in the economic order, right? Definitely, people are talking about de-dollarization, but that's a topic which requires a very detailed and a separate discussion. But something related to what you just mentioned about the security in your country. I would like to know about the status of the Muslim Brotherhood. Like, how is that position now? Is it in a position to challenge the state, or like is it just an entity working on the sidelines? Because in India, we get to hear a lot about Muslim Brotherhood, and there are a lot of notions prevailing about that organization in my country. But I would like to know what is the status of that organization in your country.
Okay, I follow your articles. You are concerned about this aspect many times about the Islamic racists and the Islamic movements in the politics. Really, we in since 2013 we pass this is issue because we have a big problem before this year 2013 about the Islamists and but let me tell you about Egyptian community and Egyptian people. Egyptian people are medium people, and if you wanted to see Islam in all the world, you must come to Egypt because it's have many secrets from the past and now. You know, not only Al-Azhar, and Al-Azhar is a big enlightenment in all the world, but because our engragements and our people here. So people here in Egypt are so medium, and when the Brotherhood come, most of Egyptian are against this, don't like this, because Egyptian way of thinking are medium. uh, they don't like this is a style. The most of them don't like about this style, in spite of there is a big money paid before about this is issue. But alhamdulillah, since 2013 we pass this is issue. But we must to be careful in the future about any tries of them to make any ideas, make any like this. But again, the majority of Egyptian people, ordinary people, don't like any this is style. But when some money try to attract some poor people or some weakness people, we must to take care about this. Anyway, the future of the modern of or the modern of Egypt or Egyptian in the future are concerned about science, tech, culture, and the peace and love to all the world. Egyptian people are so lovely people, and they like to joking. One of the finest in all the world who are joking are Egyptian. So joking is against, or happiness or laughing is against any style of this is a way of Islam. Because in Egypt also, let me tell you, we love Sufism, because there is Sufism in all religions, and
Yes.
and Egyptian Sufi here, it means love to all the people. If you see here in Egypt, Indian people come, how Egyptian love them. And I know also how Indian people love Egypt, because we feel each us, we are come from big civilization, from the same way of medium. We love to
Yes.
be
Yes.
mediums. So this is the real situation in Egypt. Yeah.
There is a very deep-rooted spiritual connect between Egypt and India. That's a very strong civilization connect. So coming to my last question before we wrap up our today's interview, I would like to know your take on the situation in the Middle East, like this whole Israel-Hamas conflict, and how is Egypt looking at it, because you are in a way directly affected by that conflict, and how do you see it escalating in the future? Is it going to escalate, or is it going to fizzle out, or as a media person, as a journalist, as a public commentator, what's your take on this?
Your question
Someone
from
sitting right there.
the state of Egypt or the people?
No, no. I mean, this Israel-Hamas conflict. How it's going to pan out in the future. Like, is it going to escalate, or like, is it going to? Is there any possibility of a ceasefire or peace? And what role can Egypt play in that?
Yeah. Egypt, what the role of Egypt as a state, you mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Really, we are here in Egypt to respect our agreement with Israel about the peace, and Egypt respect this too much as a state. But in the same time, uh, as a human, as a Islam, as anything, this is what happens to the kids in Palestine, in Gaza, in الضفة الغربية. No, any people in India or in America or any can keen like this. So here we have really يعني first so sad situation. This is first. Secondly, Egypt also a policy style not to make any troubles. If you see the Egyptian policy, Egypt don't intervene through any countries beside before. But in the same time, we must to respect the humanity and the Islam of the our neighbors in Gaza and in Dafa. So the Egyptian situation here are so hard because we respect the peace agreement with Israel, but Israel go through Gaza and through many they are break through the agreement between Egypt and Israel, but still now Egypt have its calmness, its to think so quiet and to make also a negotiation between Israel and Palestine people, Israel with Hamas people. And Egypt have a big experience in enterprise about this is issue. But in the future, if Israel still in this way of what I can see in English, to kill all the peoples and try to go outside the borders, I don't know what will happen, because we want the peace to all the world and all countries, and we want the peace to Palestine people for sure, and also Israel people for sure. But in this style with Netanyahu, I think it's so difficult to Israel itself, because if you now go through 1 year of war to kill only kids and women like this, in the future, what the child will when they raise up will do with the Israeli people? It's a big problem. So the situation now is so difficult because Israel don't stop, like more and more blood, and this is so dangerous about Israel itself.
Thank you very much. So with this, we come to the end of our today's segment of Hosana's Dialogues. I thank you, Mr. Yusuf, for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking to you, and definitely I see a lot of hope and a lot of positivity, optimism towards the shaping of the new world order, and also towards the India-Egypt relationship. This great civilization connect, the spiritual connect, and that turning into a great business and tech connect. I mean, that certainly brings forth a lot of hope and happiness for the people of both the countries. And we look forward to this constructive engagement between India and Egypt in the future, and also peace and love in this part of the world and also your part of the world. Thank you very much. We'll continue to interview you in our future dialogue series.
And all Indian people.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.